I'll certainly never forget, to this day, sitting on my lunch break and reading that contract and just turning page after page, waiting to find out what we got out of this deal. It was just concession after concession after concession after concession with absolutely no reward to it. And to be honest, I wanted to vomit.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Richard Hooker, Principal Officer out of 623 in Philadelphia, and I have Greg Kerwood, Steward out of Boston, Local 25. And we're going to be covering the dumpster fire that was the 2018 contract. Now, for everybody who was around during 2018, we don't have to explain too much because you went through it. You lived through it. A lot of the members that are new, and for all those who were not here during 2018, this is a significant contract. This is much different than the previous contracts. In the previous contracts, pretty much a lot of the members didn't get too much involved. They just saw that the pay, they're going to get a pay raise, and they're going to keep their pension, and they're going to have their benefits. And so when the local went around and said, vote yes, vote yes, vote yes, a lot of them ended up voting yes, and the contract got pushed through. But in 2018, there was a different vibe. Everything was a little off and a little different. And so I'm going to throw it to you, Greg, first. Is that what was so different about the 2018 contract as opposed to all the previous contracts we've had in the past?
Well, I think the first indication, certainly for us in New England and myself personally, was when Hoffer removed Sean O'Brien as the package director. That was sort of an unprecedented move on his part. They were on the verge of negotiations starting, and he pulled him out of that position. Certainly us in New England were looking forward to having Sean lead that campaign, and we're sort of looking forward to a fight. So that was the first indication. I think not long after negotiations started, we started hearing rumors about this hybrid driver plan. There was a hybrid driver thing on the table. Nobody really understood what that meant. And then when the contract finally was released, I'll certainly never forget, to this day, sitting on my lunch break and reading that contract and just turning page after page, waiting to find out what we got out of this deal. Because it was just concession after concession after concession after concession with absolutely no reward to it. And to be honest, I wanted to vomit. So at that point, I think myself and certainly thousands of others started questioning what was going on and how this was possible, and decided that we were all going to have to do something and vote this thing down.
And then during that time, there was a fellow named Tyler Bender who made this viral video. It was famously called the whiteboard video, and I'll put a link of it down below. But it basically talked about how the 224 language, which you just discussed, was a broken language, how some of the language in the upcoming contract was broken language, and it ended up going viral. And so, which really pushed a vote no movement, as well as the Facebook group, which was vote no on the UPS contract, blew up. So I'm going to throw it to you, Richard. What was going on during that time over in 623?
2018, and especially for the members in 623, was just a continuation to what happened in 2013. Back then, you had the 18 supplements. Then it was down to 3 supplements that didn't get passed until Will was forced on those members, including 623. And then to see what happened in 2018, it was just a continuation of what happened in 2013. So, but during that time period, a lot of members were more involved and concerned because of what happened back then. So there was much more participation. I know here we had a lot of rallies and we did a lot of leafleting, gating, because we didn't forget and we didn't want it to happen again. And Tyler's video really sparked a lot more engagement. People were paying more attention. I think that video, man, over 60, 70,000 views, so a lot more people were concerned about that.
Yeah, it actually has 135,000 views, or 136 the last time I viewed it. It's insane. So, and I had people in my building coming up to me and asking me about it. So it definitely went mega viral, and it changed a lot of the perception. So now we're going to get into the horrible truth that happened during this time. So we all had this big vote no movement. People were pissed off because there's a lot of concessions in this contract. You had the IBT at that point in time trying to sell it to people like, no, this is the best contract we've ever gotten. And so there was definitely a division between the membership and the international. And so I'm going to throw it to you, Kerwood, first. Exactly what transpired during that time?
Well, like you said, there was a huge push and there was a huge division between the membership and the leadership. And there was also a huge division within the leadership itself. There were members removed from the committee. There were members that walked out of the committee in protest. There were locals that were pushing a vote no. There were certainly lots of locals that were pushing a vote yes. The IBT itself was pushing a vote yes. We had a huge online movement, was really a grassroots, people talking to people. Tyler's video certainly helped galvanize that. But when that moment came, and I will never forget it, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. We were sitting and listening to the call on the announcement of the vote results, and Dennis Taylor got on there and announced the results and announced that the contract had been voted down, and in the same sentence said that less than 50% of people had voted and therefore was ratified. And at least in my experience, everybody was busy jumping up and down, excited that we defeated it. And I don't think most people heard that he said that. And so then there was this sort of confusion of, did he really say that? Is that what he said? Because he also sort of implied that they were going to go back to the table. And then the company immediately put out a statement saying that they looked forward to going back to the table and getting the contract done. And then sort of in the days that came afterwards, that statement of it being ratified and we are not negotiating sort of got hardened by the IBT. And then the company, of course, quickly withdrew their offer to go back to the table. And that was sort of, there was a lot of, we can do this, we can try this, we can do this. But I think at that point, the ship had kind of sailed, and it certainly sparked a whole lot of anger.
Richard, how do you recall that day, that terrible, terrible day?
So we had organized like a celebration because we knew that we were going to win this fight. There was no doubt about it. The organizing, the push, the anger from, the previous contract, we knew that we were going to get this done. So we actually had a group that we did some work with, the Poor People's Economic and Human Rights Campaign. They helped us organize. We were having some dinner at Miller's down in South Philly, had some drivers. We was watching the votes come in. Everybody's pumped up. I mean, I'm screaming. Everybody's happy. And I'll never forget, I got in my car and Joni Lane Miller calls me. And she says, "Hey, Hooker, did you hear what happened?" I said, "Sis, nah, man, we just won. We just won. What's going on?" The IBT is not going to let it happen. I said, "What? What you mean the IBT is not going to let it happen? The members spoke. What are you talking about? Some rule, 2/3 rule." And I said, "Man, that's just not right." And I felt like just so defeated. And what was the purpose of fighting? What was the purpose of organizing? What was the purpose of paying dues? And just to look on our members' face, man, it was so disheartening, man. And it was like we did all this work and the IBT to sell it. I'm getting the goosebumps are coming back because I still remember that pain of working and organizing and the management telling us, "Oh, get out of here," because we we had did a viral video and the division manager get off the property. We did all that for the IBT to screw us. It was a sad day.
And so, Rich, you just mentioned about the 2/3 rule. And then every once in a while I'll see it online where people complain saying, well, if only more people voted, it's the, you know, sometimes I hate to say it, but people will point fingers at the part-timers. Oh, the part-timers never vote. And if they had only voted, we would have, you know, had this contract be voted down. Greg, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, as much as we'd all love to have everybody vote, the reality is that voter turnout was one of the highest that we've ever had, and for, you know, a lot of the reason being that there was such a strong push to vote that contract down, and so many people got involved and organized and got everybody to fight it and vote against it, that we actually had a relatively good turnout. You know, the issue, the 2/3 rule, to be honest, I had never heard of it at that point. I think most of the members had never heard of it. You know, it was in the Constitution. It had been there for quite some time. It was just one of those things that I don't think anybody really knew about and was counting on. And it just got thrown in our faces. And so, fortunately, we've removed that, so it's no longer an issue. But at the time, like Rich said, it was, I mean, you want to talk about having the air let out of your balloon. You know, after all that work and effort and everything, and, you know, a good 5 minutes of accomplishment to find out that it was all for naught and that it was going to go through anyway, it was like, it was one of the most disheartening things I've certainly ever been through.
Now that we're here today, and the last contract that was pushed in was basically pushed through, even though the members pushed it down, they wanted to vote no. They did not like it. They thought the contract was trash, mostly because of the 224 language. And now we're here sitting today on this next contract. So what do you think is in store from here?
Well, I think that it's been one long sort of slow eruption from 2018 until now. Obviously, we had a leadership change and a big election around that major issue being the forcing of the 2018 contract. We've had a long time to sort of get ready for this and prepare. The members who were there in 2018 have not forgotten. We've all gotten to see firsthand what a disaster the 224 language has been, along with a whole lot of the other holes, the subcontracting hole that was in that 2018 contract, the lack of major improvements in part-time wages, and just a lot of the issues that weren't addressed have only gotten worse. And so I think it's sort of a spillover into where we're at now, and it sort of has grown exponentially in that time. I think we've got a lot of members who are not waiting to see the contract and vote it down this time, but are actively going to prepare to get their contract ready and done right before they vote on it. So I think there's definitely a change in the mentality of, we're not going to wait and see what we're handed. We're going to actively work towards getting something good and getting it right the first time.
So, Rich, I want your opinion on this. You know, the 2023 contract is coming up. The 2018 contract put a bad taste in a lot of members' mouths. Where do you think this is going from here?
Well, I think we're going to win. The members are upset. The COVID pandemic, you know, we made this company record-breaking profits. And you take that along with what happened in 2018, and the company just feels like they can just do whatever they want to do. And now our members understand. And I think the fact that we're more engaged, I think that there is more unity. in the process. There's not a lot of back and forth. I think UPS is in trouble, and they know it. And I know right now they're trying to play these games and trying to prolong the negotiations and this that. But I think they better wake up, because August 1st will be here before you know it. And I'll leave it like that.
I want to thank Richard Hooker for spending his time to come on this channel and help educate the membership, especially during a time when negotiations are going on, and that's pretty hot. So I know that's a lot of stress, so I appreciate you, brother, coming on. And also Kerwood, of course, always donates so much time to help out the channel. Love you to death. Now, we're going to go to the shout outs. Rich, who do you want to shout out tonight?
The Teamsters. From the person who's been here 50, 60 years, all the way down to the member who just got seniority. I want to give you a shout out. Stay strong, stay vigilant. This company will not make it without you. And they're going to try to make it seem like you need them more. But I'll just say this. If everybody keeps their hand in their pockets, nothing moves. There's no $318 billion in profits. Just keep that in mind. Don't ever think that your labor is worth what they're telling you. It's worth a whole lot more.
Now, Kerwood, who's your shout out tonight?
I'm going to take a subset of that population, and I'm going to shout out all the people who are currently going through layoffs. I know it sucks. Some of us have been there before. This is not a layoff of economic necessity. This company's got more money than God. They are simply toying with you and with everyone else, trying to frighten you, trying to divide us, trying to play this game in a contract year. That doesn't mean that it doesn't still suck for you. It does. Split shifts or part-timers that are getting laid off completely. All I can say to you is that the rest of us who are not laid off, we understand, we're there for you, and we're still going to stick together. It's important to understand, and I told some of my guys this the other day, in a 30-year career, this is going to be a little blip on the horizon. And you have to keep the big picture in mind. Keep, understand that a couple of weeks or a couple of months here may seem like an eternity when you're going through it, and I'm sure it does. But you'll get through it, and we're gonna take this company on, and we're gonna win the contract that you deserve, and you're gonna have the last laugh in this game. So hang in there. We got your back, and I'm looking forward to this whole thing every day.
And so if you haven't done so already, be sure to add 623 Lives Matter on Facebook. Rich, where can they reach the 623 crew at?
Oh man, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Just matter of fact, just Google 623 Teamsters Local 623, and you'll see all of our social media accounts. We try to hit everybody because we know that's the new wave going on right now. Hit a lot of our younger members, and we're just trying to be more accessible and more engaging. So just Google 623 Lives Matter, like you said, or Teamsters Local 623.
And if you haven't done so already, if you have Facebook, you got to check out Mr. Kerwood's one of many great pages. He's got his 401k page, which has like 14,000 members now, does it not? The Teamsters Media Hub page, where you can find shows like my own on there. And
free contract page.
Yeah.
No more proposals. Proposals are in.
Proposals are done.
Yeah.
The 2023 contract page. Be sure to get on that. And I want to give a shout out to a part-timer out of my own local, 728, Jess. She went out on her own time, on her own dime, to go to another building in Macon to try to reach out to more part-timers to help organize the part-timers. That is freaking awesome. And if you are a part-timer at a 728, she would like to talk to you, I will throw your contact her way. Just email me, roswellhub@yahoo.com, and I'll throw the contact to her. So keep that going. But I always love hearing stories where people are giving out their time and effort to try to organize and make this union even stronger. That's awesome to hear. So with that being said, I love everybody. I love you guys for coming on. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.